Ladies and gentlemen,
boys and girls, wherever you are in the world, a warm Cayman kind welcome to Gimistory, the Cayman Islands International Storytelling Festival.
Now Sabrina, this is the first ever online edition of Gimistory. So first of all, we want to welcome you, the residents from right here in Grand Cayman. And a little further that way, Cayman Brack. And a little further that way, Little Cayman.
And we got international tellers too. So welcome to the viewers from their homelands of international tellers, like Jamaica, Barbados, the United States of America.
But what about the ones that are coming from India? The ones that are coming from Guyana? The ones that are coming from St. Lucia? Welcome! Boy, this Gimistory going to be sweet, sweet, sweet. Like what do you call it? Like a piece of cornbread, the custard top cornbread.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or a good old plate of conch dinner.
Yeah, with a side of cassava cake, pile up.
My favorite.
So sit back with your preferred drink, sit back with your preferred food, or even with your preferred somebody, and come fly with us on the wings of our stories.
Cayman Islands, I see you. You went from the girl that no one saw to the pearl of the Caribbean. You didn't know your own splendor and your own beauty. Seduced by the world and its decadent allure. But now your soul calls. The bells of culture ring from within your walls. Come, let us revive the spirit of our forefathers in celebration, togetherness, and love. I know a place in the sun where everyday people make haste to come. 3 little islands in the deep blue sea. Oh, Cayman Islands, that's the place to be. And in this place, there is non-stop fun. A different pace, still enough for everyone. We set adrift on the sweet cool breeze. Oh, Cayman Islands, that's the place to be. And though I may cross the foam, you'll always remain my home. Rum points and bar and Stingray City. And so much love in every district. Under the stars, we unravel the mysteries. Oh, Cayman Islands, that's the place to be. And though I may cross the foam, you'll always remain my home. And though I may cross the foam, you'll always remain my.
So this is the International Storytelling Festival, what we call Gimistory.
That's right, Gimistory 2020.
And we go in with, the first teller is the veteran.
Oh yes.
The Mac Daddy. He like the Tupac of the Caribbean.
That nothing stops him, Matt. Nothing whatsoever. Not even aphasia.
No, health don't matter. Rain don't matter. So we're coming at you with the man that's like fine wine. Every year he gets better and better. Ladies and gents, Mr. Ken Corsbie.
When I first floated the idea of a storytelling festival with Henry Mutu some 24 years ago, I couldn't have imagined that the Gimistory could have lasted this long. Despite a major hurricane and now a global pandemic, the power of story continues to inspire and entertain us. While we miss being together on Cayman's beaches, I am delighted that we can be together virtually for this year's Gimistory Festival. Thank you for the wonderful staff of the CNCF, the technical support system, sponsors, volunteers, storytellers, and musicians, but most of all to Caymanians from the length and breadth of these islands that make Gimistory special. Thank you for making my wife and me part of your family. I like traveling in the West Indies. During my theatre, radio, television, athletic and basketball career, I've traveled quite a lot. Even though West Indians like a bad talk or regional airlines, they have given us good service and made Caribbean linkages possible. For instance, when BWA flew, it was "But will it arrive? Better walk if you will, or best women in here." Viet was leaving island anytime, lost in another terminal, or my favourite contribution by storyteller Amina Blackwood Meeks, "Lord, let it try." I have heard many West Indians say, "I'll never walk in that area again." I mean, how are they going to walk? On a schooner? Once, when waiting for a flight to leave Guyana for Trinidad, my fellow passengers and I watched as the two pilots did their usual safety check of the plane. They stopped and looked intently at the wing of the plane, pointed and discussing. One of them went off and came back with a fella with a tall ladder. He climbed the ladder, which in his back pocket pulled out a roll of Scotch tape. He tore at a ring of Scotch tape and taped the wing. That same Scotch tape wing was supposed to carry us to Trinidad. The third flight was announced. Passengers looked around looking for someone to take the plunge. One by one we solemnly boarded the aircraft. When we reached Trinidad and the plane touched down on the tarmac, there was more than the usual amount of hallelujahs and applause. It was reported that all the passengers had a crick in their necks. Except for the flight crew. For them, it was business as usual. Scotch tape is a most wonderful thing.
Let's give them some story from our very own.
From the West Bay that flew across to the English Channel, yes.
And definitely making ripples with her talent.
Are we talking about the lady killer?
That's right.
Miss Rita Estevanovich.
Amazing. Oh, hello. So, I'm reading all about our Cayman boa. Don't you find the boa fascinating? What? You don't like snakes? Really? Oh my. But they have such an important job to do. They're fascinating. I think I said that already. Oh, please, let me tell you about the Cayman boa. Just a little bit. What? You got bleach ready? A broom? You're joking, right? A machete? You don't really believe that if you take the head off and bury it one side, it's the best way to prevent it from coming back to life, do you? You do. Lucifer? The snake is... Oh no, we have a lot of work to do here, don't we? Now I know they're not, cuddly like, say, a little rabbit or, sweet like a little puppy or, they don't sing or do anything like that. Definitely not a parakeet. But the boa is endemic to Cayman. This little dwarf Cayman boa is something special and has been in Cayman. Let me start at the beginning. I think I have to put this in a song for this to work. I think it might go down a little easier. Oh. We'll talk about that after. So let me take you back millions of years ago. You ready? Okay. So Sky God was in Cuba many years ago. But he saw what the boas were doing and he said, I no. You see, the boas were real big and they wrapped round their food real tight. They were eating everything they could find, bats and hutillas, pretty much everything in sight. So Sky God sent hurricanes and blew some off the land. They ended up on tree trunks, headed straight for our islands. That's right. And some of them went to Little Cayman. Some of them went to the Brack. And some of them end up in Grand Cayman. And we had boas just like that. But of course, this was a long time ago. So right now, what we have is a little lazy boa, lazy little snake. Sadly, what a name for itself it gone and make. This lazy little boa, this lazy little snake. It don't even have no venom. Why you afraid of it? For heaven's sake. That's the question I have to ask. This little lazy boa, this little lazy snake. All he really does is sleep under dead wood and in rock holes. And maybe sometimes he'll come out when it's a bit sunny, because he wants to come and play. But our version is nothing like the one that was in Cuba because, of course, it's many, many years later. And why should you not be afraid of it? This little lazy boa, he only eats small things. Like the other things you don't like, like frog and lizard. Isn't that nice? This should make you sing. Don't be afraid of the little boa. He's been here longer than us. When you see one, don't lift your broom. You don't need to make a fuss. 'Cause our little lazy boa, our lazy little snake, he won't bother you, just leave him alone. He's part of our landscape. There is one thing I should tell you about him though. If you do mess with him too much, he might cry red tears. Because that's the only defense he really has against us, perhaps other things that might harass him, like our dogs. So all I'm trying to say is, we have a little boa. He's lazy, that is true. He won't lift a broom. He won't carb rope. He'll just squeeze some, frogs and lizards. That's about all he'll do. He's kind of shy. He's kind of small. He won't grow big. He won't grow tall. But he'll keep all of these other things under control. So when you see the boa, when you see the lazy little snake, heal him up. He's doing a good job, I think. And he's endemic to the Cayman Islands. So leave him alone for heaven's sake. Yeah? You'll consider it. That's all I can ask for. Back to my reading.
Back in the year of 1939, the first of the great singing cowboys, Gene Autry, heard a cowboy song that came out of all places, England. And he liked the song so much that he not only recorded it, but he used it as a title for a movie back in the year of 1939. And 2 years later, he used the second verse, or the second line, I should say, of the song for another movie. So he got, 3 out of 1, a hit recording, and 2 movies. That's not too bad. South of the border, down Mexico way, that's where I fell in love when stars above came out to play. And now as I wander, my thoughts ever stray south of the border, down Mexico way. He was she was a picture in old Spanish lace. There for a tender while, he kissed a smile upon her face. For it was fiesta, and hearts were so gay. South of the border, down Mexico way. Oh, she smiled when he whispered mañana, never dreaming that they were parting. But I lied when I whispered mañana, for our tomorrow never came. South of the border, I roam back one day. There in a veil of white, by candlelight she knelt to pray. The mission bells told me that I should not stay south of the border, down Mexico way. Oh, she sighed when I whispered mañana, never dreaming that we were parting. But I lied when I whispered mañana, for our tomorrow never came. South of the border, I roam back one day. There in a veil of white, by candlelight she knelt to pray. The mission bells told me that I should not stay south of the border, down Mexico way. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Back in the middle 1930s, there was a jazz song called Old Folks. And by the middle 1960s, it migrated not only into the pop field, but also into the country field as well, recorded by a lot of artists, both jazz, pop, and country. And the song is called Old Folks. Everyone knows him as old folks. Like the seasons, he'll come and he'll go. Just as free as a bird and as true as his word. That's why everybody loves him so. Always leaving his spoon in his coffee. Tucks his napkin up under his chin. And that yellow cob pipe is so mellow, it's ripe. But you needn't be ashamed of him. Every evening after supper, what stories he would tell. How he held the speech at Gettysburg for Lincoln that day. I know that story well. Don't quite understand about old folks. Did he fight for the blue or the gray? 'Cause he's so diplomatic and so democratic, we always let him have his way. Every Friday he'd go fishing way down on Old Buzzard's Bay. But he'd only catch a fish or two, the whale got away. So we just warm up the steaks. Someday there won't be no old folks. What a lonely old town this will be. Children's voices at play will be still for a day, the day that they take old folks away. Children's voices at play will be still for a day, the day that they take old folks away.
Matt, I always heard a thing about where you gonna go after this lockdown.
Okay, and well, it's a big world. So where you want to go? I'm giving you a plane ticket right now.
I am feeling curry. Did I get it right? Did I get it right?
Very good.
Very good.
You are wanting curry. Well, we are being supplying.
That's right.
Yeah, and also best price, huh?
Well, yes. I am talking about India.
Okay, and I hear India is they're in the future, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're in tomorrow already. They hours ahead. So we're gonna take them into the future right now.
Well, we definitely will take them into the future, and we want to welcome to the stage our next teller, Miss Jeeva from Chennai, India.
No, I like the way you say it with the curry, man. Say it with the curry spice. Go. How she? What her name is?
Jeeva.
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 Jeeva. Jeeva.
Jeeva from India.
Vanakkam. My name is Jeeva Raghunath. I come from Chennai, the capital city of Tamil Nadu, southern India. I'm going to share a story that I wrote for Tulika Publishers. It's titled The Grandma's Bead. Yes, in a small village lived an old lady and her husband. Now, the old lady had no teeth. She would go about, wah, 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 wah. But she was very fond of chewing betel leaves with betel nut and slaked lime. It was a custom, or it is still a custom in India, to serve betel leaves with betel nut and slaked lime to show that it's a very auspicious feast or festival. Now, this old lady, since she had no teeth, she would take her mortar and pestle. She would drop the betel leaf into it, and the betel nut into it, and the slaked lime into it, and she would start pounding just like this. Tak 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 tarak tarak tarak. Alabak achkumuchik 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 achkumuchik. Pooh. Tak 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 tarak tarak tarak. Alabak achkumuchik 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 achkumuchik. Pooh. She went on and on and on. Now her husband was fed up listening to this noise from morning to evening, evening to morning. And he would always say, ay, 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 ay. What a headache, what a headache. My wife from morning to evening, evening to morning, she goes, tuck, 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 tuck. Oh, it's such a headache. What can I do to stop this? He thought. Now, in that village was a very smart teacher. He was known as Teacher Vela. And everybody said that he was the right person to give a proper solution. And so the old man went out and called for him, Teacher Vela! Teacher Vela! Now Teacher Vela heard it and he came in a hero style. He said, yes, Grandpa, what's your problem? He asked. My wife from morning to evening, evening to morning, she goes, tuck, 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 tarak, 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 alabak, achikumuchik, 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 with her betel leaf pounding. Oh, it's such a headache, it's such a headache. And Teacher Vela said, oh, that's no problem, Grandpa. Don't worry. Do you have a cow? He asked. And the old man said, of course, yes, I am the richest landlord here, and of course I have the biggest farm, and I have the best cows. All right, enough of bragging. Now bring the cow and tie it into the house, he said. What? Into the house? Who will tie the cow inside a house? Teacher. Do as I tell you, Grandpa, said Teacher Vela firmly. So the cow was brought in. And he tied it on the windowsill. And the cow that looked around had never seen anything like this before. And so she went, "Mwah, mwah, mwah." The old lady continued, "Tak tak 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 tarak 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 alabak achikumuchik 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 achikumuchik." Pooh! Ah! Screamed Grandpa. He said, "Ay, ay, 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 what is this? First my wife, now the cow. How do I take both of these? Ay, 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 ay." And he called out again, "Teacher Vela." And Teacher Vela said, "Hop! Yes, Grandpa, what's your problem?" "Ayyo, the cow goes moo, and my wife goes tuck tuck. More headache, more headache." Thought Vela. And he said, "Well, Grandpa, all that you need to do is bring in a donkey." "You silly teacher. You want to bring a donkey into the house? How is it possible?" he said. And Teacher Vela said, "Hey, come on. Don't you understand? Do as I tell you. Do you have a donkey or not? Of course I have. I told you I'm the richest landlord. Oh, enough. Tie it inside. Okay, since you say it must be a wise decision. So he brought in the donkey. And again tied it up. The donkey looked around. And he was afraid too. And he even and the cow, she went moo, moo, moo. And the old lady continued tuck 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 tuck. Ah! Screamed Grandpa. Teacher Vela, he cried. What, Grandpa? What now? Asked Teacher Vela. First my wife, then the cow, now the donkey. Donkey. Cow, moo. My wife, tuck, tuck. It's painful. My ears are bleeding. Thought Vela. And he said, all right. Do you have a horse? I told you I was the richest farmer here. The landlord here. I have a horse, the best horse. Enough of your bragging, Grandpa. Tie him inside. What? The horse? Yeah. Do as I tell you, he said. Okay. And the horse was brought in. And tied. Now the horse looked around and he even and the donkey even and the cow moo, and the old lady tuck 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 tuck. Teacher Vela. The old man went out wailing and screaming and crying. And Teacher Vela said, what now, Grandpa? The horse, the horse, the donkey, my wife, tuck. All right. Teacher Vela thought for a while and he said, oh, I got the solution. Send them all out, one by one. Okay, I do as I tell me. And first went the horse. Then went the donkey. Then went the cow. And then, you can't send the old lady out. After all, she's his wife. But when the old man came into the house, what he heard was very different. Now what he heard sounded just like this. Tuck, 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 tarak, 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 alabak, achik muchik, achik muchik, achik muchik, achik, achik muchik, achik muchik, achik muchik, achik. Grandpa smiled and he said, my wife's beat is the best beat. Her music is the best music. It's music to my ears. And so saying, he leaned on his easy chair and went rocking and soon fell asleep. The old lady continued, her pounding. Tuck, 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 tuck,
What happened to you?
Ooh, these mosquitoes is bad.
Man, I don't see no more.
But I tell you what, I lick them
Wait,
hard.
he dead?
Yeah, well,
He dead.
yeah, but you know
Yeah.
who not dead?
Who?
The fact that we out here under the beautiful moon, and I cannot wait for the next teller, you know.
Well, it better be good, you know.
Yeah, but
because we got good energy going.
What do you think about the teacher?
Oh, you mean like somebody who passes on the knowledge?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody who knows the craft.
And she got that down pat.
Okay, I think I got an idea. This must be the one that has the ability to paint. They're coming out tonight. Yeah. We better get to her quick.
Yeah, quick, before she change her mind, all these mosquitoes.
She like the Caribbean Bob Ross. She could tell stories while she paint. Get ready. What the flies coming?
Yeah.
Get ready for Nasaria, Suckoo.
That's right.
Chollette.
Oh my goodness, what a hot day it is. I just get back from town, went and get 2 yards of cloth. And who you think I see there but not Elrita? Funeral slayer. That's what I calls her. That woman is a professional funeral goer, you know. I mean to say the body not good lift up out the person before she gone fly into her closet to look for dress to go. And let me tell you about this woman's closet. Now, it could be full sunlight outside midday, and you open up her closet door, it look like midnight up in the pair black dresses from left to right. And when this woman go funeral, I talk in black from head to toe, you know. She even take the very thatch and dye it black to make hat, all the way down to them black stockings and them pointed black shoes. She looked like 12 midnight personified. That woman is something else. She love a funeral. Let me tell you something. One day, she invited me to come to her house for a tea party. She invited me and Mimi. Now, I get the late because I had to take one cassava cake down to Marvel. And when I get to the house, and I got to see the funeral programs all over the table. I thought it was somebody's tablecloth. And the two of them sitting down there with them in their hands like they playing go fish. You got any Boddens? No, go fish. The next thing they're gonna be exchanging them like how them children do them Pokemon cards. Well, anyway, when I saw Elrita in town, I knew that things was not going good. This woman was so disheveled. I mean to say her bun wall on the side and lean. She was pale as can be and shaking like a leaf. I said, well, Elrita, what in the world happened to you? She said, girl, you never heard the story? Well, when somebody gonna tell you their own story, you know that story gonna be a good one. So I said to her, no, I not heard nothing, tell me. Well, Elrita started. Apparently, Elrita heard that one boy, Claire Westbay, had passed away. Elrita don't know the boy name, she don't know his family, nothing. But she go rush to engage somebody to give her a ride and starch up her dress, and off she went. When Elrita get to that funeral, she had be front row center, up in the front, like she know this child from time he born. They say when the singing start, she had to be the loudest. And you know when you got put that little teardrop in your voice, right? She up there about, rock away days, like she is torn to pieces over this. When they start to pray, Elrita catching spirit all in the people's funeral, jumping up and down all over the place. Well, they get to the point now where they're lowering the casket into the grave. Elrita pushed through the crowd, she pushed through the family, she pushed through everybody up in front. She is right to the edge of that boy grave hole, right there her toes is on the edge. And they say that his mother, she was going to cry out now. And Elrita now sing out with one cow bawling, so much so the poor mother had to hush her mouth and hold herself back. Well, the next part was the interesting part. Apparently, the ground started to shake, and the dust rose up from the earth. They thought it was the second coming. And the next thing you know, Elrita fall pell-mell into that grave on top of that boy coffin. You listen, they say she was up and jumping up and down, trying to crawl up the edges, so much so she scratched up the whole of that boy coffin with her high heels. That is what she get. Well, when she finished telling me the story, now I was dying to laugh. I had bite-side my cheeks, trying to keep myself from busting out. And then this woman gonna look around, see if anybody listening. So I know something good was coming. And she said, and you know what else? I had to go counseling, get over the trauma. Well, that was it for me. I could not help but to bust out laughing. That is what she get. Gone to everybody's funeral and don't know nobody. I hope the next funeral she go to would be hers. Thank you.
From white sandy beaches to turquoise blue waters of the Cayman Islands, we head on over to the land of wood and water.
And Scotch bonnet.
That too.
Yeah.
Let her go.
Yeah. And this next teller, when she walks into the room, you can't miss her. Brightly dressed, big smile. She's been a staple. And probably I would say that she is one of the most entertaining personalities on the Gimistory. What you call lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they want hit Scotch bonnet.
That's right. You want a little bit of curry?
You want a yellow one or a red one?
Yeah, I like the yellow one. The yellow one because you go with the curry and you can cut.
Yeah, it hides in the curry?
It hides in the curry.
All right, get ready
But
for Dr.
Amina Blackwood
Meeks.
Thank you so much for inviting me to do this. I wish I could be there with you. But we can, because we know how to overcome everything. Sometimes, we do things that bring us a lot of problems, like when we travel and bring back things. And Nancy did find out, say, it is not always a good thing to bring back things. So make I tell you what happened. One time, you see, Nancy's children were in the backyard playing, and one of them touched something, and it cut him finger, and him finger start to bleed, and him go and him show him mother, and him mother say, your father never realized that what him bring from foreign could have hurt him one of children. Make I tell you what happened, because it's not really your father's fault. He was well-intentioned. One time, there was famine in the land, and the only person who had anything and had everything was the king. The king scrape up all the food, all the corn, all the maize, all the yam, all the banana, everybody plant. And him have it in a him buttery. And everybody hungry. And when him sees everybody hungry, he make a decree that he would allow some of the people to have some of the food if they would volunteer to go and sell the food for him in a faraway district and bring him back some money. King always love money, But here what the king say. If you want to sell my food, I have to mark you as a servant of the king. And the way I am going to mark you is to shave off your head. Long time them a fight against Rasta. So every man say, no, them not cutting off them locks. And when Nancy look, and Nancy see how him children starving, and him wife a maga down, and Nancy swallow him little pride, and Nancy go to the king and agree that he would take the king's produce and go to a faraway district and sell it, and him agreed to shave him head. Well, the king shave off a Nancy head clean, and give a Nancy 2 big hamper basket of food to carry to this faraway village to sell. If you hear people say a Nancy and start to laugh, people run come look ya. Look what me never see a bald head Rasta man yet. See one day, kiki, and I saw them a go on, and Nancy swallow him pride. And him carry the food, and him sell, and him bring back the king money, and the king give him enough food to last for a certain mention of time. And when the mention of time done, by that time, and Nancy beautiful locks grow back. But him people hungry. And Nancy think about this thing again. And him go back to the king. And the king shave off him head again. And give him 2 big hamper basket full of provisions again. And Nancy going down the road to get to the faraway village to sell the food. And people come out again and start to laugh. People run, come look ya. Look what me never see a bald head Rasta man yet. See one day, and I saw them a go on, but Nancy come back with the money, and again, the king gave him enough food just to last for a certain mention of time. And every time the mention of time finish, and Nancy have to take all of this ridicule and go sell the food. Well, one day, and Nancy buck up on a man, and Nancy telling the man all his troubles and tribulations, and the man say, Nancy, if I was you, I would not go back to that village. People are take you for mock. I take advantage of you. You stay with me a little bit until we work out a plan. But the king noticed say Nancy gone for too long. And so the king sent all his horses, the king's horses, and all his men, the king's men, to go and find Nancy. And when them reach the village now, Nancy hiding behind the man door, the man say, Nancy, don't hide. I have the right thing for the king's horses and the king's men. You see this sword that I have? This sword can fight by itself. Make I tell you how you make this sword fight by itself. And the man whisper a magic word to the sword and let go the sword. And the sword gone out, man, and fight off all the king's horses and all the king's men and win. So one day when the man gone out, Nancy said to himself, but if I have a sword like this, I don't have to stay in this village. I can go back to my village. So Nancy pick up the sword that could fight by itself and go back to him village. When the king here say Nancy come and Nancy in him house, him send some more king's horses and some more king's men to go and find Nancy. Here Nancy. You know, take one yourself, you know. Take away yourself. I do not want to get into trouble. Take away yourself. Would the king's horses and the king's men take with themselves? No, man. Them surround Nancy house and start laugh about bald head Rasta and what the king is going to do when the king catch him. And Nancy just whisper the magic word and let go the sword. And the sword out there, man. And it chop left and it chop right and it chop center. And the sword just a fight by itself till there was nothing left of one king's horses or of one king's men. Now it is time for the sword to stop fighting. But Nancy had not learned the magic word to get the sword to stop fighting. So Nancy bawl out, seize and sickle, and the sword still a carry on. Him said, done now, no man done. And the sword still a carry on. Chop down tree, chop down all kind of thing. Now you can imagine, if you're fighting for so long, after a while, you're going to get tired. And so it was with the sword. The sword get tired, and the only place it could find to take a rest was to stick itself into the ground. But the ground was so fertile. That sword that fought by itself turned into a plant. I don't know if you have that plant over there, but over here, we call that plant old man razor. If you touch it, it cut you. And there is where Nancy find out that I know everything you find abroad, you fi bring, come a your yard. Jack Mandora, me no choose none.
Oi!
What happened? Where you
Oh, I'm so tired coming from north sound, looking man's boat.
Okay. Now, I think she's referring to our talented group of Caymanian singers, backed by Benil Miller. Benil went to Berkeley, you know,
That's
the
right.
music school, and he taught them Monsibot and the sound.
And they perfected their craft. They're not like
Yeah.
you in the shower.
Well, Berkeley couldn't fix it even any better than Miss, what her name is? Julia.
Con Julia, well, I tell you what, they even got a CD. Where about you? But you know what? We can't do this on our own. We got to show it. So let's welcome
The
Cayman Islands folk singers.
When you're talking about blues forehead all around. Muncie boat in the sound, boy, Muncie boat in the sound. When you're talking about blues forehead all around. Muncie boat in the sound, boy, Muncie boat in the sound. When you're talking about blues forehead all around. That's what he said to Bertie. Boy, give me a soldier, man. Bertie said to Lambert. Boy, all the swabs is dead. Muncie. Muncie. When you talking about who's forehead all around. Muncie boat in the sound, boy. Muncie boat in the sound. When you talking about who's forehead all around. Pick him up, boy. Hey, 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 hey. Boy, give me a soldier bit. Boy, all the soldiers is dead. All the soldiers is dead, boy. All the soldiers is dead. Bertie said to Lambert, boy. All the soldiers is dead. All the soldiers is dead. All the soldiers is dead. Muncie. Muncie. Muncie boat in the sound, boy. Muncie boat in the sound. When you're talking about blue swan head all around. Blue swan head all around. Blue swan head all around. Muncie!
Well, man, I was so happy when you took me to Barbados after almost a decade that we going straight back.
Yeah. You see how good Chefette is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I took
Let
her
me
down to
tell you.
Christchurch. She loved it, she wouldn't leave. But this time, when we go back, we want to deepen our cultural experience.
Yeah, well, we going sports or what?
Yeah, we're gonna introduce some to the. You ever play cricket?
No, I
Yep.
only hear them at night. How lonely.
You ever watch cricket?
Yeah, watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it right now.
We're going to take them to originally written by Edward Braffett and now performed.
By Mr. Winston Farrell.
God talked to the fowlcocks early that morning. He charged them not to crow. So silence come and possess every wing, and fear ever feather. And all of them joyous birds in Bodden huddled together. No rooster releasing he perch, no hen would cackle. What is this? And likewise, cloud and wind holding counsel still, peaceful in heaven like Jesus himself, like he's still the weather. And the quarrelsome shack tongue tie, and the howling mild tree, quiet, and the dancing palm tree hands full, withholding the spirit. Man better take warning. Then dawn, like it smell a rat, cautious but what coming, like it smell a rat, backing back like a cat over house, over hill, backing back like it ready to spring, like it ready to kill, and every chicken child head cover, turn back to the beds, and so, just so, before grasshopper could blinky eye, the whole sky sheet in wrath, Hurry man, hurry child, hurry land while you can. Hurricane! Sun ain't gonna shine today. Today is for weather. Bird ain't gonna sing today. They all stiff of feather. So latch down your window, strap down your door, snatch up your picnic and run for the shelter. Cause Jeanette coming and she coming like a dragon. But man so strange. He life in danger and he acting so strange. Warning from the heaven, warning from the devil. He ain't taking a warning. Here he that morning. Hurricane? Them forecast people didn't know what I'm talking about. We far outside the hurricane zone. Hurricane don't ever pass here. Them forecast people at Grantley all gone crazy. Wrong news they bring into the nation. Them souls should be locked up in prison. But ever dogs start to pray as the first wind howl, as the heaven walk away and the sky collapse. He is covered as a fowl, every jack eye wide, mouth twist and surprise, frightened in the pants. Jeanette like she coming for truth. Lord, give me a chance. Sirens, church bells, swells of panic, hustle, bustle, quick, quick to the church. Oh Lord, as the first branch fall. And to think they met people in worry at all. And the first roof sail like a kite puppet string, and man with the tail between his legs singing, spare me, John, spare me. Loss, pillage, tears, death and destruction. Sudden so as it come, it gone. Jeanette come and it gone. And we learn a hard lesson. Hard we hit, hard we learn. Take warning. You better take warning. Hurry man! Hurry child! Hurry land while you can! Hurricane! Take warning.
Boy, I tell you, we traveling and have been so entertained.
We have like a private jet.
That's right.
Right around the Caribbean.
That's right.
And when we land, they just red carpet, you know.
Mosquitoes and all.
Yeah, they just, as soon as the plane touch down.
Now I want to go someplace else.
Oh, let me take you to a land of volcanoes that way.
No, land of pitons.
Oh yeah, so it's mountainous.
Uh-huh.
And it could be fiery.
And what about Frenchish?
And
Not
yeah,
French, right? You know?
Some say oui oui. Oh.
Okay, enough.
But not this guy. Yeah. No. He's gonna tone it down. He's so talented. He's bilingual. He is let me show them. Just let me show them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's have him stop blabbering and let's welcome Mr. George Alphonse.
Hey, ça le café là. Moi boucher zot. Depuis la nache zot sexe ici à zotier. Vini pas pour dire zot l'autre sur l'histoire là. By consult gum. By consult the gum. Assise, by consult gum. It is quick. Please gum passer ça. It is quick. This one is called Copelape goes fishing. Once upon a time, Copelape went by the river to catch some fish. Things so hard, he tired of eating all the animals. So he say, poisson ivlé. Puis poisson, c'est your belle déjeuner. It is quick. So Copelape goes fishing. Copelape going and he push his hand under one of his stones where he normally go fishing. When he feels something hold him, Copelape go, ça que c'est bon là. Lâchez-moi. Ah ouais, you pas allergique. Lâchez-moi, mon disot. Then Copelape a big voice say, soufflez-nous la joue, ou les poudres, sous ces funga les moins. Il dit quick. Boy, Copelape did that so fast. Sous ces funga les moins. And the thing takes Copelape and fly him up in there. Whoop! And he fall on his behind, brad up. Il dit quick. That's how we make Copelape dit, money up là. Il dit quick. So Copelape call Cabrit and tell Cabrit, monsieur, Cabrit, venez ici. Ici a bien poisson. Soit vous just mettez la maman bas wash ça là, ou qu'à jouer un poisson lodge ça. Il dit quick. Il dit quick. So kabrit allé, il pousse la main. Là il pousse la main ba il il va lâche-moi, Madou. Copé la paix. Qui ça fait moi là? En ba moi là. Well, copé la paix dit comme ça, laisse-moi te petit boy et moi te caille pêcher. Et dépôt ba moi te ka dit moi, ou li pour dire sous ces funga le moi. Et ben dit ça. So kabrit dit sous ces funga le moi. Et ba la pour kabrit qui voltige kabrit. Wouh! Bon copé la paix te mettre des trois faits. Bien filé. Et copé kabrit tomber sous ça. Choup! Et il mort. La paix encore commencé à manger. Bon, macaque toujours qu'à regarder la paix, vous savez. Vous savez, macaque aime pied bois. Il dit quick. Macaque descend. Macaque dit comme ça. Combien ça vous avez ici aujourd'hui? La paix, la pani poisson. Si vous avez pani poisson, car on tout seul vous avez joué, oui. Il dit quick. So, combien la paix dit macaque. Soumettez le monde là, et qu'on dit, c'est là qu'il dit poisson. Ou ça, je viens poisson from now until tomorrow. Macaque couillon là, il fait ça. Et regardez la paix, il dit, non, copain, venez plus pour moi. Venez, moutrer-moi, démonstrate. Venez moutrer-moi qui ça on est pour faire. Sur la paix, venez, il mettait la main, il boit tout. Copain macaque pour la main qui fouille, il plie dans la porte, bah il a tchébé macaque, bah il a tchébé la paix là, il parle là, Dieu. Ouais, la paix, ouais, ça, bon Dieu, me prions ça encore, il dit quick. Comme ça, macaque dit, laisse-moi te un petit bois et nous allons pêcher. Ça on est pour dire, c'est sous ces funga les-moi, et qui caille la joue. La paix là, sous ces fung, comment dire, des funga les mains. Comment là, sous ces fung, bon Dieu, copain macaque, allez l'autre bois là, où des tas de fait. Aïe, dit, bon, moi, tu vois, et d'aïdi. Macaque allez, il tue ces juk fait. Mais il mettait des toits de bois. Comme par glace radio, il mettait du bois. Tchoup! Filé. Bon, la paix pas ça. Bon, macaque vieux, il prend ces juk fer et qui mettait là. Et qui dit, dit actuellement. Right now, oui. Comme la paix, il est sous ces funga les mains. Et bail la si pour la paix pour te les airs. La paix garde, c'est Djoukba là, il commence à pleurer, il commence à prier, bon Dieu, may my soul and all the souls of the faithful, the animals, rest in peace, bon Dieu, minaïmo, tout péché, et qui descend, chop, copain la paix fini. Il mort. Il est quick. Bon, viens, je vais wash that. Pas rester bon là, viens.
Now I thinking blue and red, a whole heap of stars, and I could deal with some red lobster.
Oh,
where do you think we going next?
That sounds like my closet.
Oh no, we going to the United States of America.
Okay, to see if you're young or if you're young at heart.
Liberton.
These professionals.
Yes.
They've been to Cayman a couple times. They get their work permit, no problem, When they come in, smile, stamp.
And I understand they're like me and you.
What? How'd that go?
We married.
Oh, yeah. And they work together and they married. So they really know how to get along.
So what you know now? You call them what? The Storycrafters.
Hi, everybody. We miss you. We miss being there. We miss the people. We miss the places. We miss the food. And we miss performing with everybody in West Bay, Bodden Town, East End, North Side, Georgetown, and the sister islands. We can't be there on a beach performing under the night sky, but we can be in our backyard performing under the almost night sky. So we're gonna get started and share a couple of things with you.
Now,
what?
Go ahead.
Oh, the first thing that we're going to talk about, we're going to tell, is a story that it's a story that's partly based on a Caribbean folktale. It's partly based on a book written by Ashley Bryan, who's given us permission to tell our own version of it because it's also partly based on our imagination. So all those things come together in this story. And the reason we feel compelled to tell it is that it's a story that's people of all ages love this story, but it's also a story that's important for all times, particularly our times now.
Yeah, but the problem is that it's for us to tell this story. The sun's going to go down soon, so we don't have a lot of time. And there's a musical instrument that I forgot to bring down from the house that we really should show you as part of this story. So I have to describe it instead. It's a kind of a drum. Some of you remember I like to play on hand drums. And this one is called a cat's drum. I don't know if any of you have ever heard it. It's a very unique kind of drum, and it makes a unique sound. It sounds kind of like this. But the thing is, to get that sound out of the cat's drum, you have to know how to play it.
See, because you can't hit it.
No, and you can't beat it with a stick.
And you can't lift it over your head and shake it.
No, to get that sound out of the cat's drum, you have to stroke the head of the drum, just like this.
And only the cat knew how to play that drum. Every single night, the cat would drag the drum out into the middle of the street beneath the gleaming moonlight, and he'd play that and he'd make that beautiful sound.
And the people would come out and sit on their porches on big rocking chairs, and they would listen to the sound of that beautiful drum.
But there was someone else who was listening, and that someone else thought that if he could get a hold of the cat's drum, well, he could make the world's most beautiful sound. That someone else was the rat. And the rat decided to steal the cat's drum from the cat.
Now, every single night, the cat took the drum out into the street and he played it, and then he brought it home and he hid it somewhere. On this particular night, the cat hid the drum underneath the front porch. Then the cat went up the front steps, he went into the house through the little swinging cat's door, walked across the carpet in the living room, jumped up on the couch, curled up in the corner of the couch, and the cat went to sleep.
And just when the rat knew the coast was clear, he crept beneath that porch. He dragged the drum out into the middle of the street beneath the gleaming moonlight, and he hit it. That was not the world's most beautiful sound. So he lifted the drum over his head and he shook it. Now that rat got mad. That rat scurried up a nearby tree. He snapped off a branch. He scurried back over to that drum and he beat the drum with the branch.
All that noise out in the street woke up the cat. And the cat didn't know what was going on, so the cat got up on the back of the couch and looked out the window to see what the heck was going on out in the street. And then the cat saw the rat out in the street playing on his drum, and that cat got mad because nobody played the cat's drum but the cat. So the cat jumped off the couch. The cat ran across the carpet, out through the swinging cat's door, down the front steps, across the front lawn. He opened his mouth. His teeth were gleaming in the moonlight. The cat was going to swallow that rat in one big bite.
And that rat saw the cat's cave of a mouth, and he didn't want to be caught on those sharp, white, gleaming teeth.
No.
So he lifted up the drum, and he ran for his life.
Yeah, but the cat was fast, and the rat was slowed down by the weight of the drum.
The rat could feel the heat of the cat's breath on his tail.
The rat could feel the cat's whiskers brushing against his back.
That rat didn't want to be the cat's midnight snack, so he lifted the drum high over his head, tossed it, and then he disappeared into the darkness of night.
Now, the cat was running after the rat. The rat was long gone, but the drum was flying through the air toward the cat, and the cat's mouth was, you remember, wide open, so the drum went right down the cat's throat.
So now, if any of you ever have a big old cat sitting on your lap, you can make the sound of the cat's drum so long as you remember how to do it.
Because you cannot hit the cat.
And you cannot lift the cat over your head and shake it.
And you cannot beat the cat with a stick.
No, to get that sound out of the cat's drum, you have to remember to stroke the cat.
And that's the first story. So the second story that we'd like to do for you is a good one for this time of year, this election time of year.
And Thanksgiving too.
And it's a song that has a story behind it. We'll sing the song, then we'll tell you the story that's behind the song. The song has a little chorus. It's a really easy chorus. It's very familiar at first and then kind of veers off in a different direction. So we'll sing it, teach it to you, and then you're welcome to join us and sing it with us when it comes up in the song. The chorus goes like this. Should old acquaintance be forgot, whoever you may be, and think on the good old times we had at the Irish Jubilee. So it's very familiar. Should old acquaintance be forgot, whoever you may be, and think on the good old times we had at the Irish Jubilee. So easy. The thing we'll warn you is that the verse in this song is kind of long. So just be patient and it'll be obvious when the chorus comes up. So let's sing the chorus one more time, just so you can sing it with us if you'd like to, and then we'll go into the song. It goes like this. Should old acquaintance be forgot, whoever you may be, and think on the good old times we had at the Irish Jubilee. Okay, that's it. So here we go. A short time ago, boys, an Irishman named Dougherty was elected to the Senate by a very large majority. Sure, he felt so elected that he went to Dennis Cassidy, who owned a barroom of a very large capacity. Arrah, says Dougherty, go over to the brewer and order up 100 kegs of lager beer and give it to the poor. Then go over to the butcher shop and order up a ton of meat. Be sure the boys and girls has got all they want to drink and eat. They made me their senator to show them my gratitude. They'll have the finest supper ever given in this latitude. Tell them that the music will be furnished by O'Rafferty, assisted on the bagpipes by Felix McCafferty. And whatever the expenses are, remember I'll put up the tin. And anyone that doesn't come, be sure and do not let them in. Well, Cassidy at once sent out the invitations, and anyone that came was a credit to the nation. Some came on bicycles because they had no fares to pay, and anyone that couldn't come made up their mind to stay away. 2 by 3 they all rushed in the dining hall, young men and old men and girls that was not men at all, single men and double men and men that had their chicken pox, blind men and deaf men and men that had their glasses on. Well, in a few minutes nearly every chair was taken, till the tap rooms and mushrooms was packed to suffocation. And when everyone was seated and we started to lay out the feast, Cassidy says, rise up and give us all a cake apiece. He then said as manager that he would try and fill the chair. We then sat down and all looked o'er the bill of fare. There was pigs' heads, goldfish, mockingbirds and ostriches, ice cream, cold cream, Vaseline and sandwiches, blue fish, green fish, fish hooks and partridges, fish balls, snowballs, cannonballs and cartridges. We ate oatmeal till we could hardly stir about, ketchup and hurry up, sweet kraut and sauerkraut, dressed beef and naked beef and beef with all its trousers on, soda crackers, firecrackers, Cheshire cheese with breeches on. Beefsteaks and missteaks were down on the bill of fare, roast ribs and spare ribs and ribs that we couldn't spare, reindeer and snow deer and deer me and antelope, and the women ate so much melon the men said they cantaloupe. Red herring, smoked herring, herring from old Aaron's Isle, banger loaf and fruit cake and sausages a half a mile, hot corn and cold corn and corn cakes and honeycomb, red birds and red books, sea bass and sea foam, fried liver,
baked liver, Carter's little liver pills, and everyone was wondering who was going to pay the bills. Well, we ate everything that was down on the bill of fare, and then we looked on the back just to see if any more was there. Now for dessert we had ice picks, toothpicks, and a piece of skipping rope, and we washed it all down with a big piece of shaving soap. And the band played hornpipes, gas pipes, and Irish reels, till we danced to the music of the wind that shakes the barley fields. Then the piper played old tunes and spittoons so very fine, till the fiddler Pat came in and gave to him a glass of wine. A raw finer set of dancers you never set your eyes upon, and anyone that couldn't dance was dancing with his slipper on. Some danced jig steps, door steps, and Highland flings. Then Murphy took his knife out and tried to clip the pigeon's wings. When the dance was over, Cassidy told us to all join hands and sing this good old chorus.
Here we go.
Should old acquaintance be forgot, whoever you may be, and think on the good old times we had at the Irish Jubilee.
All right, so that's the song. That was kind of silly and fast and crazy, and we barely made it through it, but we did. But here's the thing about it. See, I lived over in England for a couple of years, and when I lived over there, I met an Irishman who was a German teacher in England. I know, go figure, it's crazy, but it doesn't matter, because the point is that he sang that song. And I heard him sing it. I loved it. So I asked him to write it down for me. He did. And I learned it. Took me a couple of weeks and I got it. So I sang it from time to time. When Jerry and I met a few years later, she heard me sing the song and really liked it. So I wrote it down for her and she learned it. Then we started performing it together. Well, we didn't really think much of it. We performed it here and there, and it was a very nice little party piece that we did in various performances. Well, for a number of years, we had a radio show up here in the northeast of the United States on public radio, and it was a monthly storytelling festival. It was a live show. We had guests come on, and they told stories. We did one story every episode. And one month on that show, it was November. It was election year, so it was just like this. We sang that song as our piece, and it went out over the airwaves all over the Northeast. We didn't think anything of it until a couple of weeks later, when we got a letter from somebody who had been listening to the show. And we read the letter. It said, "I have to tell you, I was listening to your show and I was driving down the Massachusetts Turnpike. And when I heard you sing that song, I had to pull the car over because I couldn't see where I was going." It said, not because I was laughing, but because I was crying. Well, we kept reading. You see, it seems that when I was a boy, the letter said, we got together every year for Thanksgiving with my big extended family, and my great uncle would sing that song. Well, he died before anybody ever wrote it down. So we thought we'd lost the song forever. But now, if you would send me the words, you'll give our family back a tradition that we thought we had lost. All by way of saying, if you have traditions, stories, songs, other cultural family traditions, pass them on. Make sure the next generation gets them, because you never know who's going to miss them when you're gone.
And so that's another way by saying thank you to Cayman National Cultural Foundation for keeping a tradition alive, many traditions alive, but the Gimistory tradition by doing this approach to it, and all the other cultural traditions that you are reminding people of, reigniting and keeping alive. And
Well,
speaking of which, everybody stay safe.
Everybody stay safe, and the sun's about to go down here, so we're going to go inside before it gets too cold.
Because it really gets cold here. Right now, we're sitting here without jackets, but this is unusually warm.
I'm just warm enough at the moment. So it'll be great to see you all in person again. We can't wait to do that and to have our feet in the sand of the beach and to be visiting with you all.
And to experience the Christmas breeze.
But until then, have a great year, everybody, and stay safe and take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And we'll see you all again.
Man, I remember when we were a young boy, we used to kill them carnivals, you know.
Yeah, but I still young, you know.
In your mind. That knee wasn't saying that last night. Them knees, oh Lord, them knees. I want to go Trinidad next. We're going all the way to Trinidad. This is my treat to you.
All right. Now the the storyteller and the singer and the talent that we're going to bring on. First, let me say he has a captivating smile. This man got teeth. Yeah. And right here in the Cayman Islands, down at the Hartwell Theatre, if you drive around the back, there's a billboard and you can see all of them teeth.
Well, you ain't no dentist tonight. We want to hear the stories.
And he brought all of his friends, you know.
Oh, for true?
You want to see
Company.
teeth behind him and teeth in
teeth.
front. Yeah.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome our next storyteller, David Bereaux and friends.
I hope Blackstage in there too. I think he one of the friends. I think so. Yeah.
It's a surprise.
Oh, I give it away. He's in there, Blackstage in there too.
There's something about this rhythm and melody that always does something, you know, to me in particular, because you see, the rhythm and melody that you're hearing was used in the early years, the formative years of Calypso, and it lends itself readily to the art form of extempo, making up your songs right here on the spot. I myself, I'm not an extempo exponent, but I have a friend who is, and we will bring him on momentarily. But let me give you some examples of extempo gone by. You see, because at the end of the Calypso tent, in years gone by, all the bars of the tent would line up on stage and match their wits in the art form of extempo. At last the hour of vengeance is at hand. I am in the land. At last the hour of vengeance is at hand. I am in the land. The Lord executors word of command. With my glittering sword in hand, tell Houdini, this is the hour of destiny. Sante Manite. Now, executor starts off, and you see he called Houdini's name. Wilmot Houdini was his name. He called his name. He has to come forward. Those who oppose that Houdini can sing, in my opinion, they know nothing, for it is all propaganda. And pretense, he hasn't got the shadow of intelligence. The money that was spent on his slates and books has not improved his manners and looks. He has a good inclination, but for an education in this colony. You would recognize that Santimanity was not how they always ended their verse. But you see, there were two fellas in those days, both of whom named themselves after the big cats. One, of course, had some kind of fascination with astronomy, as a growling tiger. Yeah. When I get up in the morning and I watch at the sky, sometime I just wonder why. I get up in the morning and I watch at the sky, sometime I just wonder why. If it's my planet to sign men's destination, or to put Calypsonian to meet their destruction with the sorrow and affliction of the rising generation. Sante Manite. Yeah! But the roaring lion, ladies and gentlemen, proved himself on that night to really be king of the beasts. This is the roaring lion. The earth is trembling and tumbling and heroes are falling and all. Because the lion is roaring, my tongue is like the blast of a gun when I frong. Monarchs just feel to bow down to the ground. Devastation, destruction, desolation, and damnation. All these I'll inflict on insubordination, for the lion in his power is like the rock of Gibraltar. Sante Manite. Waya! One more time. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would really like to invite my beloved friend, ace extempo artist in Trinidad and Tobago. Please acknowledge in your own way Philip Murray, Blackstage. Let's go!
Good evening, Cayman. everybody sing Santi Maniti. I looking in the back, you don't have to ask. I see all the musicians have on the mask. And I have to say what I'm saying is true. You could see that Blackstage have a mask too. Because me ain't taking no chance. The way this COVID virus advance, Cayman people, I'm telling you all, I hope all you're observing good protocol. Look, I had to sing. You know, COVID, it really brought some good thing. In fact, my wife was telling me, Sage Arel, how you wearing that mask, you see? Because she was advising, she says, Sage, that mask have you better looking. So I could tell all you on the line, she find I should keep on my mask here all the time. I know you good in Cayman, I will have you know. We don't sound in Kenny Phillips studio. So this Cayman is you is special, and we doing this extempo virtual. You in Cayman, I can't be there, I'm sad. I have to stay here in Trinidad. But one thing about COVID makes me happy. COVID make me au courant with technology. And when I look in the back of the room, what I see is two carnival costume. Them two costume I really enjoy. They remind me of Tantan and Saga Boy. But ladies and gents, I had to complain. Them two costumes still causing me pain. Them two costume I see no fun. It have no carnival 2021. So 2021 will be indiscreet if you only go parading on the street. If you're taking a wine, I have to say, you have to take your wine from far, far away. Because everybody, you can't take that chance. We cannot, we must maintain social distance. And that situation will make me bawl. Fellas can't hug up their girlfriend at all. So my Cayman friends, I'm so unhappy that this year I can't come to your country. Because Cayman Islands, I have to confess, in the world they are some of the best. Because you say I cannot commend. You know how long me I see my Cayman girlfriend. I don't know if it all you know what going on. I don't know if this COVID lockdown make me get on.
Sage, let me give you a topic. Donald Trump.
He says sing on Donald Trump, that's a great fella. But one thing I have to say, he's a sore loser. In fact, all you hear me call, if he can't be captain, he going to take the ball. This Donald Trump is so sad, you see. He want to mash up the whole presidency. The way he reacted like a louse. The army go have to drag he out the White House. Technology is a real good thing, but they had to drag me kicking and screaming. because I will be candid. I wouldn't be here if it did not have the COVID. But COVID, it came, you see. We had to be okora with technology. So I am quite thankful to the COVID fella. It's COVID who make Blackstage learn to use computer.
Cricket, IPL cricket.
The Indian Premier League, may I be so bold, is one of the best cricket leagues in the whole world. Plenty great players playing there, and some of them they turn out to be millionaires. In fact, to some of them it's a dream. And you know, Blackstage, I have my favorite team. And since we own Karen Pollard playing, I would like the Mumbai Indians to win.
Fishing in the sea, fishing.
Well, of course you will understand. Blackstage singing calypso, me and no fisherman. In fact, I don't want to song too fast. The other day I nearly drunk up in last quavers. So fishing, all you hear me call. Me are going out there and catch no fish at all. If I want a fish, I have to admit I going to go down in Georgetown Fish Market.
All the love in the world.
Lava lava die. Die lava lava. Well, I'll say this under them stars above. One of the greatest topics I could sing on is love, because I want all of you to understand Blackstage is a real romantic young man, and I want to tell all you in my song, this is love that makes the world go wrong. So Cayman people, what I'm saying is true. Blackstage have all the love in the world for you. I love everybody sing Santi Manite. Creator, a small singer with a big song that will live forever in the annals of Calypso. Respect your mother and father. The clothes you wear and the food you eat. Remember when life was sweet. You went to school and you learned a lot since you were a tiny tot. How could you forget how you got all them things you get since you were in your cradle? Is your mother and your father responsible? Remember when you couldn't even walk? Remember when you couldn't even talk? I say remember who used to wash your clothes for you, who used to wipe your nose for you, who used to hug and kiss you. I say remember who used to change your diaper, who used to find your supper. Just remember it's your mother and father. Remember when things were always fine, with no problems on your mind. And even when things are nice with you, who first you was running to, you cannot forget. And up to now you can't pay back yet. You must remember you could never pay back your mother and father. Remember when you couldn't even walk. Remember when you couldn't even talk. I say, remember who used to wash your clothes for you? Who used to wipe your nose for you? Who used to hug and kiss you? I say, remember who used to change your diaper? Who used to find your supper? Just remember, is your mother and father. Play for me. Some fathers weren't good at all. They never mind you when you were small. But even if your father was bad, there's no reason to be sad. You must understand what would be your position. If wasn't for your daddy, you would have never ever get a dear mommy. So remember when you couldn't even walk. Remember when you couldn't even talk. I say, remember who used to wash your clothes for you? Who used to wipe your nose for you? Who used to hug and kiss you? I say, remember who used to change your diaper? Who used to find your supper? Just remember, it's your mother and father. Hey, mama.
Thanks for tuning in and being a part of the Gimistory 2020 experience.
So join us tomorrow, Sunday, December 6th, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. when we will again welcome you to the second and third shows of Gimistory 2020.